What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, wrestling enthusiast, a Wrestlemaniac, if you will. And you're back again on Wrestlemaniac UK YouTube channel for another AEW Dynamite review. We are reviewing Grand Slam, a very grand show. Some great things took place. Debuts, title changes, first-time title wins. A lot to talk about. We discussed this on the Wrestling's podcast that you guys will hear tomorrow, that this is almost like a new era, a bit of a rebirth for AEW. We've got a lot to discuss as usual. I'm with my co-hosts on the show. You've got GG from GG on Wrestling, NK from Wrestlings. These guys, their channels are in the description, so make sure you follow along. Guys, just your overview of last night's events. What are you thinking of the show?
For the most part, like, it was a home run. I think this was better than last year's Grand Slam, top to bottom. Obviously, last year's Grand Slam we had, the generational Omega versus Danielson, but
but
it have pretty much carried the show. But this, like, there's multiple things to take away from the show, and I think this is the best episode of Dynamite, and I like the fact that Grand Slam feels like its own pay-per-view. It feels like something just that it's separate from Dynamite. This even felt more like of a pay-per-view than All Out. I'll be real.
100.
This felt like more pay-per-view than All Out. So yeah, man, this was great stuff, man. Great stuff.
What are you saying, GG?
It was solid, man. I was skeptical going in just because we didn't have, the dream matches that we had last year. I was worried that the atmosphere wouldn't be the same, but boy, I don't know if it's just the venue or that city, like the crowd were amped for some of it. Like, it was just a mad atmosphere. A friend of ours, Mark, was lucky to be in the building, so big up to him. But yeah, man, it was good. It was a solid show. And I was worried about the crowd. And I think, like, with like you saying about it being more of a pay-per-view than All Out, I think All Out, there's a lot of, not filler, but there's other feuds and other matches. But this was just 5 title matches, one after the other. Bam, bam, bam,
you're
bam.
looking for is filler.
No.
It's not filler. This hella filler. Like,
wait, I will spoil Rampage for you, bro. I swear.
Okay, don't do that, because I haven't seen that. I ain't seen none of the But yeah, like you're saying, NK, like, I feel like this was just, it's almost takeover-esque, and it was just championship matches. You got 5 matches. I mean, to make this a pay-per-view, you could have tipped over, the 2-hour mark, but we know it's TV. Like, maybe 2.5 hours, give some of the matches a bit more time to breathe. But all in all, I was happy with it.
And we still got 2 more hours of it on Friday.
Yeah, and Rampage actually has a good card. Like, wow. Like, Rampage actually looks like watchworthy, and like, I've heard madness happens. I don't know what madness happens, but I heard Rampage is something to tune into.
Yeah. Everyone's just saying a madness has happened on Rampage.
I don't want to overhype it, but like, from what I saw, it's just a good moment in it. But
okay, we'll see. We're gonna just go through the card today, because we usually do our 5 things we've learned, but we had 5 really stellar matches and stories and stuff here. So we're gonna cover that. Like I always say, you guys make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course subscribe to Wrestling, subscribe to GG on Wrestling as well if you haven't already. We're gonna start from the top. Victor Punk has said it. Big up Victor in the chat. The Ocho, number 8, Chris Jericho versus Cesaro, or Claudio Castagnoli, sorry. This match was just kind of put together last minute-ish on Rampage. When we were having the podcast yesterday, a lot of men didn't even know that this was a match on tonight's show. I guess they didn't see it on Rampage or anything. But I thought the build on Rampage was pretty decent enough, like good promos to just kind of get us to this match. And then obviously on the night, it's a Ring of Honor title match. So we've got, initially we're meant to have the code of honor of these two shaking hands. Jericho looked tentative at first, eventually gave in, shook his hand, but then followed it with a slap. And then obviously the match kind of got underway. In terms of like a big spot that happened in the match, we saw the power bomb of the homo bomb that Castagnoli tried to do initially. Jericho got caught up there trying to do a Hurricane Runner, eventually still turned it into that to get Castagnoli back down from the top rope. We saw a springboard attempt by Castagnoli turn into a cold breaker, which got a near fall. There was a Walls of Jericho attempt that Castagnoli just stomped on Jericho's head and turned it into the swing, done 20 rotations on that swing. And then it took us towards the finish, which I thought, okay, they made it a point on commentary that he didn't come out as Lionheart Chris Jericho. He came out as the Wizard Chris Jericho. So what kind of magic? I generally thought it's magic that's going to happen. Some type of fireball or some nonsense like that. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. But it was the good old Floyd, the baseball bat that he went for. Aubrey, I think she's the first woman now to referee a Ring of Honor title match, so big up her. She came in, took the baseball bat. That's enough time for Chris Jericho to hit Castagnoli with a low blow. And as a result of that, Castagnoli loses his Ring of Honor World Championship. I think it was a Jericho, what do they call it? Sorry, not Jericho effect, Judas effect. That hit him. He hit him with, pinned him. Jericho is the Ring of Honor champion. Now, me and Derek were saying on the podcast yesterday, spoiler, that this needs to happen because I'm just a bit tired, bored of the Castagnoli run. I don't really feel it means anything, like especially because Ring of Honor don't have their own show. What was you guys' thoughts on this match? Gigi, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on the match and the outcome.
Some good spots in the match, like very solid match. I like Jericho obviously teasing, trying to get the low blow, and it obviously eventually paying off and him getting the win. I'm here for it, man. I get people's gripes that, you know, Claudio was supposed to be like, you know, he's like Ring of Honor diehard almost, and that's, you know, and I get that of it, but I like the chaos, man. I like Jericho winning it, and I think this kind of feeds into a bigger story with Daniel Garcia. Maybe they unify the belts, and, you know, maybe we get the, you know, Brian done that, and it's the whole kind of mirror image of Brian and Garcia, and there's a whole story to be told. So, and I just think it makes sense. They're all kind of fighting in amongst themselves. I thought it made sense, Jericho going after the belt. I was surprised. I didn't expect it to happen because I did think Golden Boy, Claudio for Ring of Honor. And yeah, Victor Punk's just raised a point about Garcia not being happy in the celebration, which was like another just nice little detail. He was just like, yeah, like just kind of in
the high five was so sad, like,
like just a little. But yeah, it's a good match, man, and I like it. I like the chaos of it. I like that it wasn't like an expected result. And yeah, just not really much to say, man. I think we see what happens going forward, and I think it's going to be, and like you said, it's more interesting for Jericho to have it. Jericho's got different characters to play on. The whole sports entertainer when Ring of Honor isn't typically that. That whole bit of it, just him being an idiot about that whole side, will be entertaining. And yeah, there's just so many ways that this can now go. There was no story with Claudio. There was no, you know, it was just an open challenge basically. And yeah, I nearly said open challenge Distin. You know, Distin has started becoming part of my vocabulary now. I said it to my boy on the phone yesterday, and I was like, oh, it's just part of my vocabulary.
Open challenge Distin. NK, what was your thoughts on this match?
I thought the match was really good. Now Chris Jericho's been having a very good year in ring, and it's been a very strong year for Jericho in general. Like top to bottom, he's been a part of a lot of good feuds. The match quality has been good to great. Yeah, Jericho winning, I was shocked, but I like when shocks happen in wrestling, and this makes all the sense in the world. Like Gigi said, there's so much you could do with Jericho story-wise. He's intertwined with Daniel Garcia, and he makes a great heel for someone to triumph over. And then obviously, like, we're speculating about when the TV deal happens. Only Tony Khan knows, but you know, some people's like, you know, Jericho was the first AEW champion when they got onto TV, and if Ring of Honor is to get onto TV, who better to be like the first champion people see on TV than Chris Jericho?
Yeah.
And like I said, he's a great mountain for people to rise up to, and then eventually whoever dethrones him, they might do a situation where Danielson dethrones him, which is fine. But if they, let's say, another up and coming talent dethrones him, what a co-sign, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, yeah, with Claudio, it was, I wouldn't say it was time, but like, this is the right move. And it just, going forward, it makes the whole Ring of Honor title scene more exciting, which it hasn't been.
What happens with Claudio now, though? Like, he's doomed now. Surely
He's in trouble. Honestly,
he just goes back to. I'll be real. When Claudio came into AEW, like my ceiling for him was TNT title. Like that was the ceiling, and that's where he should be.
Inverse Wardlow would bang, to be fair, but
like I wouldn't say put the TNT title on him now, but just give him like a personal feud with somebody. I don't know. You can manufacture. Just give him like Claudio is somebody like I looked at AEW now, and I'm happy that he got his ROH title run. I honestly think he's been handled well in AEW. Like I don't think they've put a foot wrong with him. It's just maybe Pete, if you don't like him or you don't think he's captivating, but I don't think he's been handled poorly. I think he's been handled well. I just feel like now is the time. This is kind of what as wrestler you do. Like when you're without the time, you make yourself relevant. You give yourself feuds to do. Obviously, that's down to TK, but you can be feuding with somebody. I don't know who on the roster in particular. It's him versus Pac for All Atlantic could be a good feud. You know what I'm saying?
I worry it's
Eddie
just
Kingston
one-off.
is still there. Eddie Kingston feud is still there. There's the odd feud here and there, but it does feel like okay. Obviously, it wasn't by mistake. This is completely by design. The fact that Utah and Claudio have lost their titles to two guys in the JAS, they're running with it now. They probably didn't want to have two world champions inside of BCC. It's probably a bit techie, and I think for Claudio now, it's few and far between because like the likes of if we're saying all these people in this kind of mid-card space, like Miro, and I know Miro might be injured, but Miro is. I would hate to see Miro any day over Claudio. You see what I mean? So, like, there is and there's loads of guys I'm probably even thinking of, not even mentioning, that are ahead of him in that pecking order. So it is techie. What I get with the Ring of Honor Championship thing does make me think, like, even this kind of run that Claudio got of just facing guys on TV, Rampage mostly, they could have given that to Gresham. And I'm not here to keep beating on the Gresham, drum. I don't really care. But like, why didn't he even just get that? And then, like you mentioned, NK with the TV deal makes me think as well. Maybe a TV deal is on the horizon, or this is what's gonna tip it in their favor. Right? Oh, Jericho, someone that we all recognize, is now champion. Let's sort out a deal. Yeah. I have no issue with it. Daniel Garcia has to be the person to beat Jericho. It is like that's the equivalent for me in terms of like we had the Hangman and Kenny kind of arc, and Jericho. I guess Hangman was there as well, but Hangman fell away from Jericho's title run pretty early. But yeah, I feel like Daniel Garcia has to be the guy to do it, whether they want to unify the titles or not. But Daniel Garcia, I think these are some of the names that we thought, once they rebooted Ring of Honor, would be the front men in terms of world champions. They'll get their experience there before they kind of become main stage AEW. But yeah, it's all good. I was happy to see this happen, really and truly. And I don't know what they're going to do with the Ring of Honor title on TV. I guess it'll be a bit more prominent because Jericho has it. But
yeah, I think with Jericho, you're going to see a lot more. Like what I've done, like with AEW, like to a benefit and a fault, they kind of just let guy, like if you're somebody who's creative that can come and provide this, and we know Jericho is like the king of that, you're gonna be on TV. So I think we're gonna see the ROH title. It's the same thing we could even say with the tag team titles. When the Bucks had it, when Kenny had it, it was like
it meant something.
It meant something. Now Jericho's got the title. You're going to see open challenges, but you're probably going to see Jericho kind of promos about, I'm a wizard, I'm the wizard of ROH. He's going to
Ring of Honor, it's the Ring of Entertainment now.
But you know what I'm saying? Like your ROH title is going to be on TV a lot. It's Jericho. Like, it's going to be on TV or not.
The wizard of ROH. I love that already. Cool. So yeah, that was the opening match. Pretty good match, probably one of the better matches on the night, on a card full of stacked matches.
we'll get into the next one, the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. So the Acclaimed versus the champion Swerve in Our Glory. Firstly, we had Fabulous. I was proper looking like, is that Fab? Like walking out, like, because I know they said that.
Damn.
When they said Who Kid was gonna be there, I was like, okay. But when he came out, I thinking that's not Who Kid, that's Fab, I swear. And then obviously Who Kid came out with the Acclaimed. These guys, they had a really good match. I don't think it was at the level of the All Out match, but this was really good. Swerve, for whatever reason, I don't know how he's got all this heat on him. Like, Lee has heat on him, but it's not as much as Swerve. And I guess Swerve is just cocky with it anyway. So he's playing into it. Max Caster. Now, this thing that he done where he looked like he was going for the mic drop and then landed in his feet, was that like a botch? Or,
I think
he wasn't injured. Yeah, I think there was some timing or pacing issue, and I don't know, like
unless was it Swerve? I don't know if it was Swerve or
was late in
Keith.
there, yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe if he was too far and it just caused, but then you can kind of just go, right, he's had to jump off the top rope, so maybe like as he's jumped, do you know what I mean? Like, you can
commentary covered for it really well though.
Yeah.
Commentary covered for it really well.
I was worried because he landed and then he like rolled out the ring. I thought, oh my god.
Yeah, I was a bit worried as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just continued wrestling and stuff. So yeah, that was fine. We got a hot tag where Bowens came in at one point, cleared out the ring. Bowens, he powered up Swerve, hit him with like a buckle bomb and a roll up. I think he only got a 2 count and stuff. Keith Lee, he missed the mid rope moonsault that he does.
Do you know what that spot was like? Oh, you're gonna boo me? All right, watch this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Do a moonsault. Like, you could. There's no way they're booing me after a moonsault. Like,
yeah.
Surely.
And then he missed it.
Yeah.
And then he missed it. Yeah, that was pretty good. I guess things took a turn when Swerve went to use the boombox to hit over. It might have been Bowens, I can't remember. And he missed or moved out the way, and he hit Keith Lee. So more breakdown issues between these guys. Then Swerve was more or less just caught lacking in amongst the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn hit him with a famouser. They rolled him back into the ring. They done the finishing move. They hit him with a mic drop. The Acclaimed new AEW tag champions. The confetti, the everything, like, it went off. The crowd were into it big time. Right decision, NK?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This was the time. I wish they still done it at All Out, but hey, this was great. And this is kind of like the first started homegrown, literally, because before there'd be guys where they became known on AEW, but it wasn't they do a few shows in the indie scene. This is kind of Acclaimed were nobodies.
Well, Tony put them together, didn't he? It was all his idea.
Yeah, these were nobodies. I was not a fan of these man at all. I remember coming out, I buried these lot. I'm like, what is this? What are these man doing? This is trash. And then over time, you could just really just see them grow as an act. And they, I think they debuted maybe a year ago. It might be even less than that. But now they're tag champions, and it feels like a triumphant moment, because it's we've seen them grow as talent, and now both of them are just as over as each other.
Yeah,
it used to be Max, but now it's Bowens. Now they've even got they've got Chance. Bro, the crowd will scissor me that
oh, scissor me daddy.
These man, this is what this is probably one of the most organic pushes I've ever seen, because they start getting over. Tony put them on TV more. Now they're tag team champions. And yeah, Swerve and Lee's run wasn't good. It wasn't anything to cry home about, but it was a solid run. I feel especially Swerve came out looking like the bigger star of the two, but it gave them something to do. They were prominent on TV, and they put over a young, hungry tag team. Now the question is, where do we go from here? Because I feel AEW, we've established the build's great. the reigns have been hit or miss. They've been 50-50. So where do we go from here? But for the Acclaim, man, what a moment! I'm so happy for them, and yeah, man, big up the Acclaimed. I'm happy, man. I'm happy.
I'm coming to Gigi with that question in a second. Big up A Dazzle, Black Wrestling Alliance. He says they seemed like a mismatch at first, which is true. I remember times when I was trying to get into Dark, and these men were very much, they hadn't even come on TV yet. They were on Dark, and Caster's coming out and doing his raps, and Bowens is like just watching
hype
him
man. Just a hype man, yeah.
He's just like, yeah, okay, I'm supposed to do. Yeah, there was no even the symmetry of, and I guess they were in Jacksonville all the time, so he couldn't take the mic and go Jacksonville every single week because they're in the same place. So Bowens just really never had a part to play at all. For me, it all started obviously the raps and the viciousness of some of the raps that obviously got Caster into trouble once upon a time is what started making the crowd at least be somewhat invested in them. And then all the Gun Club stuff, and I can't believe I'm giving credit to the Gun Club and Billy Gunn and Ass Boys or whatever. Like that was the tipping point.
Billy Gunn got them really over.
That is literally the tipping point. So yeah, well done to all of them, man, as well, because they're off on their own journey, and they've talked about with the firm in it, they want to become tag team champions. So maybe we're gonna see them kind of reignite that feud at least. Maybe that'll be a first win for the Acclaimed. Who knows? But yeah, Gigi, like NK said, where do we go from here? Because following this, we had I think it was at this point we had the backstage FTR, and we had the Ass Boys basically make fun of FTR. They're still waiting for their number one, their opportunity at the tag team championship and all of that stuff. So there's obviously contenders. We just mentioned Gun Club themselves being one. Where do you see this run going? How long does it last? What's your thoughts?
I love how FTR are going, yeah, we'll have our title shot now. And it's like, no, wait. You got to fight us now. It's like, what? Yeah. Like, they've been waiting for a year. They're still finding a way to distract them. Like, nah, don't worry about the titles. Come over here quickly. I don't know, man. I hope, like, I'm nervous. Like, the real test starts now. Like, brilliant build, organic babyface push. Like, it all happened so well. It was just masterfully done. Like the whole Billy Gunn involvement was just so good. Like just the basics of like babyface tropes, just shouting out the bloody home city that they're in, like catchphrases. These things get over and it just works, and they're just tried and tested. And like, yeah, the true test starts now. I was so sad that Keith Lee missed that pounce spot as well, man. Like he was gonna pounce him out the air. I was annoyed about that. And I loved how there were subtle teases of this. I was so relieved that they didn't do the Keith Lee swerve split there and then. Like obviously it will take away from the big win and the confetti and stuff. So I was glad that it made me even more glad, but I was glad that they're still kind of waiting for it. Keith Lee had these little subtle moments in the match where they were all like doing their scissoring and Swerve like disrupted it. And Keith was like, come on, man, allow it, man. Come on, man. They're just having fun. There was just little subtle moments between them. And then like, I'm glad that there was no event like proper split just yet. They'll obviously do that bit. And yeah, I don't know, man. I just hope that they nail it with this run.
I feel like we do need a short title run. And I feel like FTR should turn heel. I feel like FTR's run as baby faces is kind of like,
it's like that's not even their fault. It's
not even their fault. It's internet. It's internet tax, but also it's a combination of I haven't done much, so we haven't had a lot to cheer for. But also it's like, like the crowd.
I love Gun Club mentioning that though, like saying, "FT, are you going to be on TV?"
Yeah, that was good.
Like I just love that they're not afraid to like say what everyone thinks.
I feel like the best thing to do with the Acclaimed, obviously give them their defenses, give them a few moments. I don't know if full gear's too soon, maybe, I don't know. But listen, that you do FTR versus the Acclaimed, you set it up as like babyface versus babyface, but then in the match, like you have FTR like essentially cheat to win. Bringing them
they
back.
Would be though. I think they'll get booed regardless. I don't
Yeah,
think everyone's
they
gonna
get
struggle
bruised.
now against the Acclaimed.
No, they get bruised, but I think coming out of it, it makes them a lot more. FTR as heels, as great as their babyface run has been, as heels, their bread and butter. And I feel like them coming out of like a full gear as heels, not only just protects the Acclaim, but it also gives other teams something to reach for. So like, yeah, I feel like FTR need to go back to their old ways and be heels.
For me, I've
don't see Belt Collector as babyface either.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Belt Collector is not a babyface thing, especially now at the pace it's been done, sort of thing. They're almost sitting back and they haven't got any qualms. At least in kayfabe on the show, they ain't got no qualms that they haven't got their opportunity yet. I saw Dax made a bit of a jibe in some interview saying that he'll probably win a singles championship before he gets a tag team championship match with the Young Bucks for the AEW titles, but. Yeah, they have to turn heel and like basically force their hand to get those titles at this point, because
greed
I don't
is a
care.
sin at the end of the day. Greed is a sin. So
I personally don't care about the Belt Collector stuff anymore, just because it like, when did they win the IWGP titles? Forbidden Doors in June or so. Look how long it's been. They were on a roll picking up titles, and now it's just like we've waited so long for this one. I almost don't care.
And the match really, because it was like the Young Bucks were like, it was really, it wasn't just Belt Collectors like, oh, we're gonna get this rematch for all the belts, and then now that's kind of gone away because obviously Kenny will come back, and now the Young Bucks are suspended. So it's like, we're not gonna get that match anytime soon. So it's like, you might as well turn these guys heel, and the Young Bucks already get cheered when they come back. So if you want to do for all the gold, then you can, but.
They're pretty much faces anyway. Like with Kenny coming back, they were faces, the Bucks anyway. So it's sad, man. That ship has sailed, man. That's sad. Like that was a layup, man.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like that it was just through we couldn't make it happen. There seems to be some politics behind why it never happened, which is annoying. But yeah,
damn you, Philip. It's all your fault, Philip, man.
Good tag team match there anyway. Hey Dazzle says here, I want to see all the wrestling's boys do a group scissors on the next episode. I can't agree to scissor another man. I'm sorry. I have to ask my missus about that one still.
Can you record that when you ask her permission though? I want to hear that conversation.
I'm going to, my exact words are going to be, do you mind if I scissor 5 other men?
babe, let me ask you something quickly. Sit down. You might want to sit down for this.
God forbid. Cool, let's move on. There's a bit of like backstage stuff here where I guess they were cleaning the confetti and stuff in the ring. We had the MJF segment where Yuta was being spoken to by Tony Schiavone. MJF just came and hijacked the entire segment, cut his promo. What did he call Schiavone? A fat prick or something like that? Yeah, it was absolutely mad. He cut his promo. Yeah, he knows he's heir to the throne ultimately. Him and Yuta got into it. W. Morrissey came to his defense, which is I didn't want to see, because now the firm are still involved with MJF, and I just don't think we've done this henchman thing.
Yeah, but Morrissey has his heater works, and then you just
fine.
re-up
the
Wardlow stuff.
Yeah, I get it's true. You're right.
Morrissey's fine, because he's a big imposing figure. Yeah. I'm okay. It's the ass boys, and if it was Lee Moriarty with his green hair coming to save MJF, I'd be like, what the hell? We beat him up, but it's Morrissey.
You take Moriarty's name out your mouth from spoiling Rampage. I swear. I'm gonna DM you a picture right now, brother. I swear.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, you're right. W. Morrissey isn't so bad. I think I said that last week. I don't mind if it was just Morrissey, but yeah, with all of these, man, I don't know. I'm just not into the firm. I'm still kind of not into it.
You know, like Wheeler Yuta versus MJF is a low-key banger as well, you know. That match would actually slap.
I feel like that's probably going to be a match on Dynamite next week.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Smart way to just try and get some heat on MJF, man. They're trying. Like, the crowd love him. And
the crowd love him too.
Right, you're gonna have to slap up Schiavone. Like, there's no other way, man.
Yeah. Nah, I rated
Shivani, bless him as well, man. Like when he come back, like he looked all shook and that. And then when he come back on commentary, they was like, "Are you okay?" And like he's like, "Yeah, I'm
He's
fine.
like, yeah, I'm fine.
I'm fine. I don't want to talk about it. I'm
Nah,
fine."
do you know it's the funny part? Yeah, it was on commentary. I think during the women's match or something. It was like,
Yeah, they went back to-
I went to the doctor. Mama just pushed you. Relax, my G. He just pushed you.
Thank
He's
you,
like,
Doc
I went to
Samson.
Dr.
Thank you.
Samson. For what? For what?
Oh god.
Where does it
No,
hurt,
Tony,
Tony?
that's funny. Why you going to the doctor for? Acting like you never been pushed in your life.
Brit broke her nose again, but Samson's too busy worried about fucking Tony's scraped
Tony
knee,
Schiavone.
Yeah.
Oh my
Falling on
god.
his ass. Oh my god. That's jokes.
That's
So yeah, we had that segment. We had a backstage segment where Jade Cargill and the baddies were interrupted by Diamante and her number one baddie, I think she called her, and Trina out of nowhere is backstage in AEW. No pop, no nothing. People didn't. I guess people didn't really recognize her or know her, but she was there. Her and Cargill had a little exchange. I see you and blah blah blah. See you on Rampage. Yeah, we're gonna get Cargill versus Diamante on Rampage.
Sorry, what's with all these hip hop isms in AEW recently?
I
Like
don't
you
know.
had Jermaine Dupree,
That was the most random one ever.
Yeah.
That was
Jermaine
random.
Dupree, Westside Gun, Kevin Gates, Trina. Then we had Who Kid and Fabulous. I'm telling you, this is Swerve.
Bronson.
This is Swerve.
Swerve
Because
influence.
most of these men come out with Swerve. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
They're
That's what confused me because Who Kid obviously like posted a picture with Swerve the other
Yeah.
ends up with Thingy.
Yeah, that was he had the AEW World Tag Team Championship, didn't he?
Yeah. I feel like this is a good thing, but I feel like they should be, instead of just coming out entrances, they should be integrated into segments more.
Yeah.
Obviously, I feel like Jaden Trina was sick, but I feel like that should have happened on stage. Like Trina maybe should have came out and not slapped her, but just did something. But I like more of this though. I like it.
I feel it was a bit weird for Diamante to be using like Trina as her heater sort of thing though. Like
Diamante and Trina don't make sense together.
Yeah, this is it. Like
Jade and Trina make sense beefing each other, but not Diamante, somebody else.
Random. It's just she's local though, isn't it? She's a local, that's why.
Yeah.
She must be,
which is fine. But like NK was saying, if for instance, if this was WWE, they would find a way, rightly or wrongly, to shoehorn them into a segment where they doing a bit more than just appearing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Ola, bro.
Ola's gaming with the heat, of course. Def Jam fight for AEW.
Listen,
on all platforms coming soon. PS4, Xbox.
My one hope, because of all of these relationships, is that next time we get an album, we get rappers.
Yeah.
Rappers.
Keep Jermaine Dupri off it though, yeah? Let's keep Jermaine Dupri away from that.
So deaf. so AEW.
Oh, madness. Big up our big bro L Knowledge signing in. We're gonna get into, I guess, the next match on the card. This was for the All Atlantic Championship, Pac versus Orange Cassidy. Not hitting the heights, I guess, of their match back at Revolution a year, 2 years ago. But I think still a pretty stellar match. Like Pac and Cassidy can hardly do any wrong. I feel like generally Cassidy has just come on such a long way that everyone knows, all right, this guy can wrestle. Like, so it wasn't as entertaining maybe as the first time when it was him coming out of his shell. But yeah, we had some spots in the match. We had Pac like scale the top ropes. He was going up for a black arrow, and then Cassidy just lying on his back, put up his 2 feet to counter it. But obviously he done it well ahead of schedule. So yeah, we had obviously all the DDT attempts that Pac was just selling like unbelievably, like bending his back, landing on his head, all kinds of madnesses. There was a good near fall where Cassidy delivered the orange punch, and it was broken up by Pac. He grabbed the bottom rope. And then obviously we saw Pac kind of roll out of the ring for the finish. He got the timekeeper's hammer that he uses for the bell. Cassidy comes over. They're obviously blocking the referee's vision. Rimsberg, is that his name? Bryce. And he used the hammer straight to Orange Cassidy's head. Just rolled him into the ring. Boos all over the place, but that's fine. He's a bastard. And pinned him. That was it. That was the finish. People were upset. I felt like it was fine. It was okay. And Bryce, I think, sold it really well because he was doing all the, like, you're right, you pinned him, but I didn't see anything. But what's happened here? All of that kind of stuff. I thought the finish was fine. Not great. I just thought it works for Pac and his character and stuff. Gigi, what was your thoughts on this match and the outcome?
Yeah, it wasn't as good. Give Jamie some attention in the comments, man. He's killing me.
I like Jamie in the building. Skeng VP, Bobby Crashley, Quef Hardy, HB
Spray, you know.
Rowdy Roddy Sniper. He's here all week, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, man, wasn't as good. Like, I think I might have said it last week. OC versus Pac is still one of my favorite matches AEW have ever done. It was never going to live up to that. I kind of feel like maybe, and I know it's Orange Cassidy's stick, but maybe it would have been a different dynamic if he just avoided all of the silliness. I know it works for the kind of contrast of Pac and stuff, but it might have just been a different match from what we saw before. Because, you know, even like the Black Arrow and Orange Cassidy just rolls to the other side of the ring. We've seen it before, like, and I get it's a callback as well, maybe, but it's just we've seen that from the last one, so it wasn't new. The feet up spot was brilliant. I like that a lot, and like you said, Mex, like Pac having to cheat to win was spot on. Like he could, you know, he was losing. He is the bastard, and he had to cheat to win. And Bryce Remsburg selling it, like he's so good. I know some people complain about refs being a bit pantomime and overdoing it, but I just think he nailed it. Like what, like proper, like saying to Pac, like, what have you done? What have you done? Lifting his arm up. Like,
I love the part he lifted his arm up and his arm just flopped down. Yeah.
But yeah, wasn't as good as it should have been. Possibly was nowhere near as good as the last outing they had. But yeah, I guess Pac is a bit more heelish now. I don't know where we go from here. Orange Cassidy has never been able to, I think it's like 8 title matches he's had, 8 title opportunities, and he's not won once, so that's a bit mad. But, you know, it's Orange Cassidy, he can get away with losing, as we've always said. But yeah, it didn't deliver as I'd hope. I thought this match would steal the show, but, you know, I think it's just difficult to do that match again, and we've seen it before. Like, what really else could they have done? You know,
that leads me on to my question a bit for NK. Do they run this back? Does Orange Cassidy win this championship? They keep making noise of that Pac is the first 2-time, or you know, he's holding 2 belts at the same time. I don't know how long that's really going to last for. Is that something they're trying to literally force down our faces so that we can see when someone finally triumphs over him? What do you think?
I think that's just a way for them to, like, see, we do care about Pac, like he's 2-time champion or whatever. But I think I'm conflicted. I do want Orange Cassidy to get a victory over Pac. I just don't think it should be for All Atlantic. I want the title to be Atlantic, like be given to someone else. Like, I'm obviously, it's just me, fan. I'm married to the idea of Takeshita, but if it's not Takeshita, then somebody, like, someone else. Like, you have a relationship with. I've been said it since the day, and if it was since the day the Forbidden Door started, give it to a New Japan guy. I feel like that's where the title was unveiled at Forbidden Door. Just give it to a guy, and they don't have to hold the title for long. It can literally be like a couple month reign, and then bring it right back to AEW. Let the title travel a little bit. I don't mind if we see the same way with Pac. We see El Desperado defend it on New Japan Strong for a couple weeks, and then he does one appearance in AEW, and then he drops it. You know, let the title be different. Because it started off that way, and obviously we have to have Pac on TV, so I get it. With Pac's reign, it's fine. You're establishing the title, but Orange Cassidy versus Pac should be like a maybe I wouldn't say maybe either a pay-per-view match or one of those special Dynamites like a Winter is Coming match where we do like the third time's the charm. Orange Cassidy gets his win over Pac. It's a great thing, but not for the All Atlantic.
I wouldn't mind if they use this as an opportunity to, kind of build up Pac in a way that it's like, right, you're double champion, so sometimes we're gonna book both matches in one show. Like you're gonna have a trios match, and then you're gonna defend the All Atlantic, and eventually, he's gonna be winning and all of that kind of stuff, and that helps to kind of, I say, fix the damage they've done to Pac, but it's not damage that AEW have done per se. It's just because Pac isn't really there all the time. Yeah. So let him get more wins in our eyes, so that eventually, when it's like he loses that title to somebody, preferably from New Japan, I'm definitely in that boat as well. That it's like, all right, you've overcome someone proper now, because Pac was doing double duty basically every week or whatever the case is. But yeah, I think that title does need to kind of go around a bit more. He was doing it at first, but it's not a world title or anything. Like, let's move the title around and just introduce it to new guys.
Yeah, I'm with that.
A Dazzle says here, try to right wrongs, but in the wrong way. He needs better opponents, more similar competitors or one-off guys, and let one of them beat him on an AEW show. Like NK said, yeah. Yeah, I think something like that would feel good, because it's almost like a hijack situation. If someone from the Forbidden Door realm comes in, wins the All Atlantic title, and it's like, wow, you're taking the AEW belt elsewhere, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then AEW competitors line up to get the belt back on their show, innit?
Yeah. And then like Dynamite is literally on New Japan mode, so New Japan fans will know what's going on. So yeah, like,
it makes sense.
Despy is a crazy shout, though. I was trying to think of big mans like Shingo or Ishii, because I just want to see Shingo run through AEW for a bit. But Despy would be nice as well, man.
I reason I said Desperados because he's somebody like he's a great wrestler, but he's someone New Japan could see like politics wise. Yeah, you can pin Despy. You can pin him.
Yeah. They don't care too tough.
Yeah.
If they're letting him do what he did last week, bro, they don't care about man's
just off topic, by the way. That death match was that shouldn't be on TV.
Check it out if you haven't seen it. Check it out.
That match shouldn't be on TV. That was a sick death match. Absolutely sick.
Just the visual of him be like his mask back on, like walking off, like oof.
They nailed it. Absolutely. Right, next up, we had the women's four-way match. This was for the interim women's world title. Toni Storm, the champion, going up against Athena, Serena Deeb, and Britt Baker. I will give them this. They have been nailing these women's four-way matches recently. It's a good way to get everyone on the show. The match wasn't too long. This was the shortest match on the card. I guess some could expect that. But they've done a really good job. I think Athena is beginning to show shades of Ember Moon, and the Ember Moon that we thought, in NXT, right? This is where all the talent is. She's looking really good. Serena Deeb was world class in this match. I just think everything Serena Deeb does is effortless. She looks like she's wrestling with kids at points. Like it's too easy.
And and with Deeb as well, yeah. Like I was so happy that the crowd just got behind her because of her wrestling.
Yeah.
Like she did a spot where obviously you had the what's it called? What's the pin called where you got both arms hooked and you backslide. Yeah, and then she just turned them both over and pinned them both at the same time.
Yeah.
And there was another spot she did, and the crowd were just enthralled by her wrestling, and that says so much, man. Like that someone can she didn't get the biggest pop when she come out, but for her just to do a couple spots and the crowd to there was dueling Deeb chants because of that. Like, put me in Deeb's dojo, man. Put me in.
Yeah, she's very good. Get Cho up in the place. Greets the man. Everyone watching, please, if you can hit the like button, I would appreciate that as well. Let's get into this women's match. So yeah, like we said, it was just a good, early spot. I think was it Athena that just Serena Deeb came running at her. Athena just took her head off with a big boot. Something similar happened between Toni Storm and Britt Baker, and then it was Athena and Toni Storm who had obviously recently tagged together doing a match. And obviously everyone came in, done their spots as, you know, the usual kind of setup in these kind of multi-person matches. We had a good spot where I think Athena was carrying both Britt Baker and who was on her back? Was it Deeb?
I can't remember.
I think it might have been Deeb on her back and Britt Baker on her front. And when she had pushed them over the top, and then that's when she landed on Britt Baker's face, busted.
She
Britt
should
Baker's
not have been
nose.
doing that spot, man. Let's be like, she should not have.
Why'd
been
you
doing
say that?
Spot. Like, she's not strong enough to be like she can carry two women, but you need some strength to safely like land that, because you need to basically throw one person over the person that's on your back.
Yeah,
like, it was. I think Britt maybe slipped out of place a little and it looked a bit rough, but I don't know, man. I think she bit off more than she could chew.
Possibly. Britt was on her back, and then I think she was carrying Deeb. So when she went over to throw Deeb was cleared, but then as she fell back, she landed on Britt Baker's face, innit? So
rough, man.
Yeah, rough. It was, and you saw Baker immediately went and grabbed her face, went into the corner. Reba was there, the blood was already pouring.
Pour it!
I was waiting for that.
but yet again, like Britt, the professional that she is, finds that camera and makes bloody faces.
Yeah. Someone was saying that it's like she was making a point to show Thunder Rosa, this is how you wrestle when you're injured. Obviously she had the blood in her, and obviously previously she's been wrestling with the cast on her arm. So Ola makes reference here to what Athena said. WWE wanted me to wrestle safe. Maybe that's why. Maybe we saw why last night. But yeah, I think it was a really good match. Like we said, Athena was pretty good. She done some type of the electric chair spot when, you know, everyone's in the corner and kind of you throw them down together. Toni Storm and Britt Baker were left in the ring, had a couple of exchanges before Toni Storm pinned Britt Baker. Britt Baker went to do the beatdown afterwards with Reba. I think Ember Moon came in and they tried to make it. Or before Ember Moon came in, Jamie Hayter came running down. Big pop. Everyone probably thinks this is the point of the turn. No, they realign. They hugging each other. Hayter was making me laugh. Like, that's my best friend. That's my best friend.
That's my best friend. Like, what are you talking about? Turn on who?
And then they started rushing Toni Storm. Then Ember Moon and that came in. Serena Deeb got involved as well. Back in Britt Baker. Sorry. So at this point, I mean, we're wrestling fans. I'm sure we were all waiting for something, right?
Yeah.
I spoiled it for myself.
It went on long. It went on, the beatdown went on long, and I was like, okay. I really thought it was Thunder Rosa. I thought Thunder Rosa was coming back.
So I don't know if you guys saw this, but I had a scoop and I put it in the group about 10 o'clock last night.
I saw.
Okay, cool. So,
but do you know what? And then so today, like, I obviously try and avoid any social media because I'm trying to watch it in the morning as much as I can. So then I must have seen a tweet of a picture of Saraya, and then, but I think it was just basically, I think there was a tweet going around that saying they've had talks basically. Yeah. And I see that out the corner of my eye, and I was like, right, she couldn't have. I don't think she debuted then, because surely whoever put a picture up would have been of her debut. But then for some reason, like, I'd watched half of it in the morning, and then I must have just clicked on Instagram by mistake. The first post was Saraya's Titantron. And I was like, God damn it, man. and then obviously when I was watching it, I expected that. And I couldn't believe, like, I still, like, my hair still stood up. Like, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And when she walked out, I was still like raw. Like, it was mad.
Jamie says a scoop. What group? I'm not in that group. You were there, bro. I think you man were talking about IVD versus Madam Joy.
Yeah. I didn't know, because you dropped it, and I was like, because I remember, because I knew, because she'd been talking for months about, like, she's been talking to Tony Khan, but, you know, she's gonna debut on her time, but, you know this concept, she's probably been signed for a while.
Yeah, but, they're waiting for the right,
just waiting for the right time. But That debut, man, bloody hell.
This person basically told me like they're not sure if it's him, but they saw Paige's boyfriend at AEW. This person was in attendance of the show. So they messaged me on Instagram. They said they saw Paige's boyfriend like in and around the state.
Wait, who you getting scoops from, bruv?
No, this is a friend. This is a friend in New York.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought...
So they were going to the show last night, and they said they're not sure if this guy is Paige's boyfriend, but they're pretty sure they saw Paige's boyfriend in and around.
You should have put that out, man. Get them clicks, boy. That's how we do it.
I don't want to report something that like I'm not bloody SRS in it, like, and then everyone comes at me.
So
I came and told you, man, that it looks like something could be happening. But yeah, Saraya comes out, massive pop. She looks great. She looks like, you know, she's come here to wrestle because, you know, obviously, if it was just a thing where she's just doing some type of GM role or something, I'm sure WWE or whomsoever would have offered her buckets of money to just come and do that, you know, and she could have taken that money. So she was, like we were saying, very passionate that she wants to wrestle. She's back, and this is a massive, massive signing. Obviously, we've spoken about in recent times the Sasha Banks, could they go over there, and the Naomis and stuff. For someone that was super influential in the beginning of the women's revolution, and kind of gets overshadowed by the Four Horsewomen and all of that stuff, I just think this is a massive get. And like I was saying with Sasha Banks, there is no way Sasha Banks should go to AEW if she's probably not given the pen to literally be booking this division or have some type of higher role. And the same way now, because of how influential Paige Saraya was in the women's revolution in WWE, I can't expect her to just go to AEW to collect a check and fold her arms and not do anything about this division that needs a leader to kind of lead them out of these dark times. So I'm happy to see her back, but I will not lie to you, I'm super skeptical because it's just like, is anything going to change?
She might just be happy to wrestle, though, innit? Like, she hasn't wrestled in so long. She might just be like, oh, I can wrestle. Yeah, whatever you need me to do, boss. If you're gonna put me out there in a match. How confident did she look as well, man?
Brilliant.
Like how she soaked it up, boy. Like, how confident was she? Like, it was mad.
She walked out, yeah. She done her little poses, this, that, and the other. As she was walking down the ramp, she said, "This is my house." I believed her. She's been there for 10 seconds. She said, "This is my house." I believed you. I said, "Yes, it's your house.
Here's the keys."
Keys. She was brilliant. Go on,
you see, first of all, the music. Oh, since it, like, I'm a big I like good entrance music. I've already added it to the wrestling playlist. It's on the playlist already. When the name came up and the crowd, just to hear her get that pop, because she's a big deal. Like you said, she's kind of like the genesis of like the women's revolution in WWE. She's got a huge following, not just from WWE, but from the Twitch stuff she does and the streaming she does. There's been no excuses for AEW for a long time, but there is no excuse. You have to book this woman properly. She is not a future star, not an up and coming. She is a star. She is and we talk about a lot of the acquisitions AEW have made. Women's division in AEW being trash is no longer an excuse because the women's division has been good for I'd say over 6 months. It's been like a good division in terms of talent, but in terms of stars, the conversation usually revolved around Jade being the future, Jade being the star in terms of look and presentation, but not quite having it there in ring. Britt is probably the closest thing they had in terms of that overall package, but there was still minor deficiencies. Paige is all of it. Like, she is the
if she can still go, though, man. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We haven't seen her for a long time, man.
Put caveat it. Provided she's at her peak and she's still as good as she was, she's the total. But even if she can't go as well as she could before, you push this girl to the moon, to the sun, and then through the whole solar system. You push her everywhere. Listen, this division needs her. I'm sorry, Tony Storm, Thunder Rosa, it was a mistake. If you had Saraya signed for months, Why are you making it interim? You should have gave Tony the title and given Paige the immediate title. Immediately. Paige, listen, Saraya versus Britt Baker is money. Saraya versus Jamie Hayter is money.
That might be even more money, you know.
That's even more money. British heritage.
Yeah, British heritage.
British heritage. And they look similar as well. But and then you got Saraya versus
all white people
Aiden.
look the same anyway.
But Saraya versus Jade, listen. Next week Dynamite. Open. I need Saraya speaks. You need to let these women talk. Because yes, we can.
You're right, bruv. Open the show. You're right. Like, let's make sure we know she's a star as well.
There's no other way to make it seem important than doing something like that.
Saraya speaks. The same way you did with CM Punk. I'm like, CM Punk talk. Saraya speaks. Why I'm here. It's the same thing. Why I've been gone for so long. We know how she's been gone, but I've been gone for so long. What I've come here to do. And yeah, if you want to interrupt her with Britt, that's fine. The question is, where do you go with Jamie Hayter? But you can find a way to intertwine all of them. And what does it do? It creates a storyline outside of the title. The title's dead. I'm so sorry. Tony Storm can't revive it. None of them man can revive it. It's done. Reset. Either you do Saraya as champion or you do Jamie Hayter or somebody. Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa, they won't save that title. But so listen, I'm excited. I wouldn't even say I'm optimistic because history has shown me that the women's division has been packed. But now you've got no leeway.
No excuse.
You've got no excuse. The division top to bottom is good, and now you've got a star. Jade with the TBS is running. It's almost run its course. I think it's time. I don't know who, but it's time.
It has been time for a
Willow.
minute still.
It's been time. It should be Willow, but they're not giving her wins, so I don't know who.
Yeah.
But you know, it's time. Move Jade on from that and give her some feuds. But yeah, Saraya, listen, that entrance, that pop she got. Oh, I've been a fan of Paige Saraya for time. That's me right there. NXT heritage, Divas division heritage.
Again, it's very good to see her back, and like we said, the confidence that's radiating off her, like it's where she belongs and she feels at home. It's when she said that literally within 10 seconds that I said, "This is your house. You're back. Welcome home."
Now time to redecorate the women's division.
Trust me.
Decorate it.
Steve, SCW, the wrestling channel. Big up, Steve. Make sure you're subscribed to his channel. He says, Buzzing Saraya is back. Always been a fan. Edge and Brian have made comeback, so I hope she has the same story. It's great to see someone being able to do something they love. She can make a difference, which is facts. It's the facts of the matter. A Dazzle says, booking is the make or break here, not the wrestler. That's the worrying part. Yeah. And that's what I was saying. It just makes me think that someone that was so influential in making a change over here, she can't just come here and just be doing bit part. Like, it has to be of the same kind of influence. And, you know, like we said at the top of the show, this is almost like a bit of a new era, a new starting, a couple new champions in AEW. There is no way to start this new era better than maybe something like treating Saraya akin to how you treated CM Punk. Like, let her come out and speak. Give her those wins to kind of get, you know, the match practice back and all of that kind of stuff. Britt Baker could be a fantastic first feud. Maybe she eventually reaches the title scene. Probably won't take as long as Punk did because there's just, you know, maybe less options of that level in the women's division. And then that's when you can then bring in the likes of Jamie Hayter. And if Jamie Hayter is somewhere down the line going to overthrow Paige, then you can get back into the jealous friend of Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter and all of that kind of stuff. Again, we've said this before. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but with Britt Baker not champion, you've got the opportunity to tell other stories in the division. You now have 2 women's titles and a Britt Baker storyline, and effectively your biggest star now is involved in a Britt Baker storyline. So
easy money.
It's easy money.
Money.
The shame is they only do like 1 women's match per show, so 2 per week. Like, we need to get this, and use this as an opportunity now to, you know, let the other women, like, just raise the morale of everyone here and do some more stuff in that division.
Listen, but if you got one match, I don't care. Put Tony Storm on Rampage or put Saraya on Dynamite. I know that's not the right way. Yeah, we should have cool. With what it is now, Saraya needs to be on my
Rampage
TV
8, man.
every week. This is my house. This is my kitchen. This is my ring. This is my ring post. This is mine. This is my Saraya, go.
They can't forget about Tony Storm though. That is one thing. They do need to still treat the champion with some type of reverence.
They don't do it now.
I know they don't, but they need to, because now they have Britt Baker, who's already overshadowing the champion with whatever she was doing, followed by Saraya. Like, at this point, like, what kind of champion are you? Because no one cares. Like, so yeah, they need to do something. Jamie, what's Jamie saying here? When does Britt bring up the tape?
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. What tape? I've no idea.
Oh, I think, is he talking about? Oh,
I don't know. I've never heard.
Oh, okay. I'm with the picture now. Listen, there's going to be a lot of.
Send me a link in it. I don't know if I don't know what you're talking about.
There's going to be that tape to discuss. There's going to be, you know, Sasha Banks ending her career if Britt wants to go there. There's stuff to talk about in it.
There's organic stories that can be told, like you said, bruv. Like her just returning, people trying to put her back on the shelf. Like there's organic stories to be told. There wasn't, although Tony had the whole, you know, mismanaged in WWE thing, like nothing's really come of it. Saraya's got so much to pull on, like her family being like wrestling royalty almost. Like there's a lot to pull from there, man.
Saraya can say, I'm the reason why you have a job today. I'm the reason. Because none of you lot would be doing bra and panty matches if it wasn't for people like me. You know what I'm saying? Saraya, come and talk your shit, man. This is your house. Come.
This is your house.
Talk your shit. Come. I'm tired, man. I need something, man. Saraya, come. Talk your shit.
There's some good stuff there, man.
Let me address with this Rampage nonsense, man. Because now Steve's
jumping on it as well, realistically, man. And I'm an AEW mark. Steve says, as much as I enjoy Rampage as a 1 hour show, it becomes skippable most weeks. Sorry, GG.
Let me just say one thing, yeah. When we're talking about, we're putting, I don't know, who was it? Was it Starks and Hobbs initially on Rampage, or they're only on Rampage? But if you're not watching Rampage and putting eyes on Rampage and supporting the talent that are on there, then how are you going to have them grow or have the show be better if you're not watching it? If you're just saying skip it every time. Like Rampage is always a solid show. There's always solid wrestling. I know there's this whole, he's not made it, like he's not told us it's a B show. Is it a B show? The early Rampages had some crazy main events, but support Rampage, watch it and it will become better. People just like saying, I'm going to skip it. Like, and I'm not just saying you, Steve, because I've heard a lot, like you guys have said you skipped Rampage, but bruv, the work that Hobbs and Starks were doing on Rampage and Keith and Swerve were on Rampage for a bit, or whoever it is, like support Rampage, watch Rampage and it will become better. Support, you're saying, you know, they're putting these people on Rampage, but you're not watching Rampage. So how can you even moan about it if you're not even watching the product to support them? Like that's what really irks me, man.
For me with Rampage, I always watch it. It's just not like, you know, first thing I watch Rampage, but I will always watch it. Yeah. My thing with Rampage is that it lacks being in tandem with Dynamite. Like it's not its own show. It's not its own it's not a brand split situation. So Rampage should have a lot to do with play in with Dynamite, and sometimes they just fail to make that link and it feels a bit destitute. The wrestling on it is not the issue, that, you know, that's not a problem at all, but they just need to kind of make it interesting with high level stuff as well.
I just feel like there should be separation in terms of that. Some big names should be consistent features on Rampage. Like when
Hobbs and Swerve were on Rampage, bro, and they were big names when they come in, but everyone wants to moan about them being there.
The episode of Rampage I remember is like obviously when we had Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks, or Young Bucks when they were even facing Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto, stuff like that on Rampage, and then just bigger names on Rampage will get people to tune in. But Rampage, is it's a good show. It's not bad. It's just skippable. It's skippable. Like you
It's
can
not
miss.
skippable, bro.
It is.
No, as in you can miss Rampage and you haven't missed
feel like
anything.
you
Like,
missed. For example,
Yeah, but you're missing good wrestling, though. I know what you're saying in terms of there
I mean,
might not always
storyline.
be. Yeah, I get that. But you're gonna miss solid wrestling matches and solid talent that, you know, like Hobbs and like that's what like annoys me about it. Hobbs and Starks, for example, that was their
That was
show
their
for
breeding
weeks
ground.
and weeks.
You're correct.
And if you like Hobbs and Starks, if you want to support Hobbs and Starks,
You'd
then
watch
watch Rampage because that's where they were. But everyone wants to moan, oh, they're on Rampage. Well, watch it then, and you'll see them. Like that just doesn't make sense to me.
You're right.
And
It's
do you
just
know
like a
what? I've said it before.
double-edged sword.
I don't know what it, but I love Rampage like purely, and it's probably maybe more so a UK thing as well because I get it's on way too late on a Friday for us, man. 3, 4 in the morning, whatever stupid o'clock it is. So I get to get up early on a Saturday, grab my little breakfast, little cereal, like I'm 10 years old again, and watch wrestling in the morning.
Early
So
morning wrestling,
it gives
yeah.
me the feels, like so.
Yeah.
That's probably part of it.
I would
but
agree with
for
that.
me
I would
personally,
agree with that. Yeah, but yeah, I think they just need to maybe tie in the show more storyline driven, more than just kind of match sort of thing. But yeah, we've gone off on a tangent about Rampage. let's get to the main event. Big up everyone that's still hanging with us. Please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you've hit the like button. All of that good stuff. We're here at the main event, the finale of the Tournament of Champions. 3-time world champion Jon Moxley going up against Bryan Danielson, 6-time world champion, to see who's going to come out as the AEW world champion. Fantastic match from start to finish. Very brutal. Danielson owned like all the opening segments here. A lot of chops. Big up Mark that was in attendance. He was saying that people thought that Danielson had a microphone attached to his wrist the way that they were hearing the chops. So it must have been a mad thing in attendance. We had Danielson working on the shoulder so that obviously he can, put in that yes lock. Moxley kicked out of a bicycle knee at one point, got turned into a Boston Crab. What else happened here? Then when Moxley kind of got into control, he dropped Danielson, I think, with 1 or 2 paradigm shifts. And eventually
the leg work as well, like stomping on his leg.
All of that stuff, yeah. His Achilles and stuff. Then eventually hit him with it again, and pinned Danielson to become a 3-time. Am I right in saying?
He choked him out, innit?
Yeah. Sorry, he put the choke on him.
That spot was so good though, with him rolling down the ramp. Like whoever come up with that, I don't like. It may have been on the fly because these guys are just that good. But him dropping him on the Death Rider and him
rolling into
the ring, and then Moxley having to chase after him, that was such a good spot.
Yeah. Moxley's a 3-time AEW world champion. Twice in quick succession within this year. Obviously, we know why. Listen, I don't think it's the result anyone was particularly looking for, but I don't think anyone's particularly annoyed. No. Mox and Danielson have been brilliant. Mox, I just guess, is just at this point now where he can just be the savior in situations like this.
Ace.
Yeah, and we all know, like we said, MJF was waiting in the wings. Now, for me, they may have maybe missed a trick. I think it would have been a good opportunity to have, like, obviously where they kept showing MJF, up in the stands. And a lot of people I've seen online were complaining, people that were in attendance, they were frustrated that they were actually paying so much attention to MJF, like on the screens. If they're too far away and they want to see the match, like it's just showing MJF and stuff. Imagine the atmosphere in the place if all of a sudden they panned to MJF and he wasn't there.
Right with you. Right there with you.
Imagine.
The whole time.
And I know some would say, okay, but then what's the payoff to that? If he didn't come out afterwards and all of that kind of stuff, then what's the payoff? Which is true. But I just feel like the way they kept showing him, one time they're going to pan there and he ain't going to be there. And the whole crowd is going to gasp like mad. Like, but we know MJF is probably coming soon. One thing I did notice, AEW, and it might be too soon for this, but AEW is in Cincinnati in 2 weeks, the hometown of Mox.
Oh, horrible! You're a horrible man.
It may
You're
be
a
too
horrible
soon,
person.
but the only reason I think of it is because MJF beat Punk in Chicago.
Yeah.
So,
oh,
but then I'm thinking, then what do you do for Full Gear? Unless you just establish somebody new, but then you kind of just did that trick at All Out. But that would be amazing, though.
Yeah, this is what's confusing me. Like, what do you do at Full Gear? Because the way MJF's talking about it, it's going to be a shock all of a sudden. Like, and the way he is, he's not going to. That's what made the Money in the Bank briefcase, because a heel will hold it and they do a sneaky little thing to win the belt.
Yeah.
MJF announcing in advance, I'm wrestling you at Full Gear, doesn't work.
Yeah. Exactly.
And do you know what do you know what? Yeah, I thought would have been perfect. Not like him disappearing, or just all of the. I know you don't like them, but go with it. Just all of the firm just walking down to the ring, just clearing house, and you just see MJF slowly walking through the crowd, like to collect what's his. Yeah. And I think this really kind of speaks to our reservations that we had last week. Check out last week's episode if you haven't. Why not? Like us saying about Danielson winning and them taking it away. I was for it, but I get that's his big moment. If you're going to give him the title win, and we know MJF's going to take it away, but at least if it's Moxley, we would be a bit more right with it, I guess.
And there's a dynamic to play off of as well. With in terms of a feud,
they've already started it.
Yeah, there's a lot more meat on the bones when it comes to like Moxley and MJF. So for me, I know some people are like, I'm sick of Moxley. He's going away soon. Now, after this is done, like, he's going away soon. So I feel like, you know what? As much as the Danielson moment would have been better for the show, long term, I think Moxley is the correct pick. And you know, it just makes like, and plus MJF has been getting cheered a lot. Yeah. Obviously, people would boo MJF if he beat Danielson, but Moxley's been the guy, especially in 2022. He's held this company together. And, you know, MJF taking the title off him in a sneaky, cheeky way will automatically establish him as top heel. And he's already lost to him. Back at All Out, I think it was during the pandemic era, he lost to Moxley before. So there's stuff to bring up. Like, there's an actual feud that you can do with these men.
There's definitely stuff to play off. But, yeah, I think, like Gigi was saying, with MJF, this ain't gonna be no announcement next week, guys. This is going to be like he's agreed with Tony, and him and Tony know like I'm having my match tonight.
Unless he gets to pick the stipulation. That's
the other thing I just remembered right now isn't on Rampage they're having this golden ticket #1 contenders thing.
Yeah.
So what if Mox has a match in Cincinnati with whoever wins that thing? And then after Mox beats that guy, that's when this guy wants to have his match.
Because in the interview, MJF said in the interview specifically, I think it was with Eric Hawani, he said, it doesn't matter if Moxley's just had a match. Like, as long as I've agreed with Tony, I could do whatever I want. I just have to agree with Tony beforehand, and whatever happens.
That might be the move. It could happen in his hometown. He said, I'm beating your home. I've heard MJF say, I'm beating your hometown heroes. And he beat CM Punk in Chicago. It could pretty much be in 2 weeks. Mox then still goes off on his thing. This may not get to Full Gear.
Yeah. Do you know what? If it's a 2-week run, then you have to give it to Moxley. Danielson doesn't make sense. Like, Moxley, Do you know what? If provided, I'm sold.
This might be it.
I love it.
I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't mind it.
Good. It's good. It's good TV, man. It's very good TV. And I honestly want. I think I.
Sorry. If you look at the Full Gear posters, MJF is taking the front and center role of.
Is that where Punk was?
That's where Punk was. MJF is all over like where Punk was on the Full Gear posters. Like, he's front and center.
I even I think I tweeted it out. Like, I honestly want almost like Tony Khan reluctantly like booking the match as well, like, or even if it, I don't want a heel turn for Tony Khan because he's not an on-screen character, but like just him being bullied into it, like just MJF walking through Gorilla going like, go on now, I want it now, and
I want to see something like that. I want to see him like pushing Tony, like call whomsoever Jason Roberts, and Jason Roberts goes to the ring and says, you know, by Tony Khan's commands, this is the next match, whatever the case is.
Remember when Omega and Don Callis hijacked the title off John Moxley, yeah? And the shot where like Omega and Don Callis are running out the arena, Tony's like, what the hell? I want something similar when MJF obviously hijacks the title, he walks past Tony and even just like either taps him on the shoulders like, thank you, bud, and then then goes away. And just goes away in the limo. Like,
this was all you, man. You did this.
Thanks, man.
Something with Tony, like not for him to become an on-screen character like that. Some vision of him needs to be seen. Like,
I would just love him, just like sad puppy. Like, okay, make the call. Like, I'd love that, man.
Like W. Morrissey standing over him or something, maybe, or something. Yeah, man. I mean, we'll see. It's you know, we've all kind of said the same thing. A-Dazzle saying it here. I guess you'd rather have Mox hold the title for a short time in order to hand it to MJF rather than Danielson win it for the first time and lose to MJF, which is big facts, as we'll be saying that since last week. Getcho says here, right either way is too much title changing hands. I mean, what's you guys' opinions on that? I know this year it's been pretty much through circumstance. Like,
we've had some lengthy reigns. We've had some lengthy reigns. Like, I'm not mad at it. Kenny held the belt for a minute, man. So I'm not against it. Especially with it being MJF as well. Like, it makes sense for him to be the person just to grab it out of nowhere.
And you know what? Yeah, the reason why I'm not a fan of that criticism for two reasons. Obviously, we know the circumstances in which the title can, and two. Before this, Mandible complained that title reigns were too long.
True.
Mandible said, it's too predictable. Title reigns are going on for too long. Now we're doing hot potato. But hot potato via circumstances. It's not just because of bookings, because people want to get injured and then cut promos afterwards at press conferences. Like, we're doing hot potato because of that. So it's like, pick a side, my G. Like, do you want long established title reigns that go on for months? Or do you want a bit of... And you can have both, but now is the time where people are going to be... Because guess what? When MJF gets that title, you're going to see a long title reign.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to see... So enjoy hot potato for now, because if I see some of you, man, saying, nah, he needs to lose the title, you know, I'm going to resurface these quotes and comments.
I mean, when MJF becomes champion, just looking at, you know, the field... I think Danielson is obviously someone that they can make AEW champion at any point. But other than that, who is on that echelon? Even when we look at, you know, the guys that they were calling the four pillars, a lot of them, man, have kind of, fallen away, but fallen away respectfully. Like, they're not doing much. Like, MGF is
clear
of these, man. Like, Danielson is there as someone that could become champion. Do you think, with obviously this 2024 storyline as well, MJF might hold it from whenever he wins it this year throughout 2023, you know, to kind of tease he's getting close to the end of it?
Absolutely. Somebody said, obviously, I don't want it to be Moxley, but somebody said, like, I think it was even Brian Alvarez, he put like a fantasy storyline and it was sick. Like, he said he's basically just gonna do a rehash of CM Punk. I'm gonna leave with the title, but now he's got the title and he's counting down. And then the day that he's about to leave, somebody beats him. But then the next day we can Dynamite, like, you know what? I've re-signed because I want to get my title back. You know what I'm saying? But
that's a good story, to be fair.
Yeah, like, I've re-signed because I want my title back. But I don't know. But because this storyline's gonna go for a while, you can build someone in that time. I don't know if it's somebody new or a double champ. I think somebody new because of Moxley. We've had repeat champions. So I think somebody new into the picture. I have no idea. I have no suggestions to offer you.
A Darby or a Jungle Boy would be good in terms of, because, like, I'm sure it's Jungle Boy and MJF have like feuded fought
Yeah,
a
they
few
had the match at
times,
Double or Nothing.
and
It's
Darby
not
as
believable,
well.
though.
No, I
Let's
know
be
it's not,
honest.
but like, come on, there's time, innit? Like,
Yeah.
who
Maybe
knows what could
Darby.
happen? Danielson
Maybe
would be great.
Darby.
And
Maybe.
I wouldn't even mind Hangman just being the one to take MJF
I was
away,
just about
man,
to say Hangman needs to be
because
throwing the escape rope because that guy's drowning right now. I don't know what's going. I know he's embroiled in everything that's happened in this situation, and maybe they didn't suspend him from what I've seen, but it looks like maybe they're still kind of keeping him quiet so it can all cool down around his name. But he's literally fallen off a cliff since dropping that world title. Involved in the trio stuff for a bit, but he surely deserves better than this. Like, surely.
I don't know what you do with him though. I don't know where he.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Because
No, but then I'd rather it makes sense. Like, I miss him just as much as everyone else, and but like,
to
there's
dethrone MJF,
nothing for him to do at the moment.
To dethrone MJF, you need somebody that. Darby's not, but Darby's the only one I'm thinking maybe. But then you need a lot of packaging for that.
Yeah.
But Darby's probably one. Danielson's probably another one. Kenny's not gonna...
Cody would be sick.
That's not happening for a while. If Cody was still in the company, ridiculous. I don't know.
Mate, it's a difficult one, but I'm here for a little kind of
Wardlow, of course.
Yeah, but Wardlow needs reheating now. Let's be honest,
heating, man.
Yeah, no, I know, but that like another one I fantasy booked. Yeah, if like if just for instance, Wardlow's got the TNT belt still, and it's 2024, and then we see like maybe he loses that belt and he runs off MJF because of like MJF shenanigans, and you've got both belts laying down in the ring, and he's looking over at them. The crowd are behind him, like, what belt? And he just picks up the world title instead of the TNT and like motions to MJF like it's this time now. But yeah, Wardlow would be perfect if done right.
Yeah.
It'll be another TNT title. Though. It'll be like the feud will be sensational. The build will be sensational, and then Wardlow as champ will just be like,
wah. Yeah. I mean, we're looking at the future, long time ahead, and we know, like, I think, like we're saying, this is a reset. Tony will probably start planning out who his next 4 champions are from here on out. I think there's a lot to look forward to. Like, for me, I just like AEW. They feel like now we can see the investment in the younger talents and the guys that were once on Dark and are beginning to pay off. These are guys now that can carry the ship forward. Obviously, through WWE releasing guys and all of that kind of stuff, there was an influx of hella guys into this show. Some of them are still struggling for TV time. Some of them are going back. Champions. A lot of them will probably end up going back. Yeah. So I feel like now we're getting back the AEW that we almost had at the beginning in terms of 2019. There was a clear division between the older crop and guys that we can make champion now and can do this, and indie stars. And then these are the guys that they're going to basically bring through. And it wasn't influxed by WWE's mid-card guys and all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I feel the show is in a good place now. Hopefully, there's no more kind of ego outbursts from Tony or his staff, his employees, and everyone can just concentrate on wrestling and just producing a good show. Like some of the stuff that Tony's been saying in terms of the gate, how much they've been making on shows, viewership, like it's all moving in the right direction. Like we don't need to invest in these big marquee signings from other companies anymore. Like you've got New Japan. If anything, use them, man, to, steady the ship, provide dream match moments and stuff like that. They're on what you're on. Like these guys from WWE, majority, hook or by crook, it's I was a mid-carder here, so let me come flex muscle over here in the smaller show sort of thing. Like, keep AEW what AEW was supposed to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can agree with that still.
Yeah. Guys, any last bits or bobs before we sign off for today? It's been a long show, boy.
This Support is my Rampage. House.
This is my
Support Rampage.
Support Rampage. No, I hear it. Like, and we can't forget, I think they said that Rampage is moving to a live show very soon. which people have said will help because the crowd will feel re-energized for it. So, like I'm saying, AEW, they should just see this as literally a new page, no quoted, no pun intended, and just start again, go back to the drawing board, and a lot of good stuff on the way. But thank you guys for joining. As always, guys, if you're not familiar with their channel, jump into the description. We got Rest Things, NK and Rest Things. We got GG on Wrestling as well. Make sure you're subscribing to their channels. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit the like button as well. Share the video, all of that cool stuff. And we shall see you on the next one next week. Peace out.